Hi folks, it's Andy Krieger, your garden helper, and today we find ourselves inside the kitchen versus outside at the garden. All season long we have been watering and we have been weeding and we have been worrying about the vegetables that we planted over the last couple months. Well, today we can finally see the results of that work we've been putting in. Okay, this morning I went out to the vegetable garden and I had a basil plant that seemed to need a little bit of trimming, and so what I've done is I've taken my little container out there, filled it with absolute the most beautiful basil you have ever seen. It is fresh, it is crisp, it is green, it is ready to go. Well, what are we going to do with basil? What else but make pesto? Now, any basic pesto recipe is going to have 4 ingredients. The number one being, of course, fresh basil. The second one, extra virgin olive oil. The last two, but not least, fresh Romano cheese, and of course pine nuts. Okay, job number one, no matter how organically your vegetables are grown, no matter what you do with them, but you always want to wash them. That's the first chore that you need to do once everything is trimmed. So we're going to go ahead and fill up the sink. Get a little fresh water going. Give her a good washing. Okay, now that the fresh basil is all washed, I've got my KitchenAid, I've got my grinder head on it. So what we do, lock it in place, put it at about a medium speed. Take the fresh basil, I kind of put it in a little bit of a ball, a little bit of clump. Put it right down in and go to town. Okay, sometimes grinding has a tendency to get a little bit tough. Go ahead and take a little bit of olive oil, and as you're grinding, add a little bit, and it helps it go smoother. Okay, some recipes call for you to remove all the leaves from the stems, but this is fresh, early season basil. The stems are just tender as could be, so I go ahead and grind the whole thing. This is what 25 pounds of freshly ground basil looks like. Okay, now that we have all of our fresh basil ground, putting the recipe together is all that's left. The proportions are very, very simple. It is 2 cups fresh ground basil, 1 cup fresh Romano cheese. You can use Parmesan, but Romano is actually a little bit better, more expensive, but it is better. 1 cup extra virgin olive oil. Pine nuts gives it texture. We don't use a lot per batch because they are expensive, but you do want to have that texture in there. You can sunflower seeds. Then I also like fresh garlic. Now, not all recipes call for garlic, but I do like to put it in there because I like the flavor. Very simple. Take our 2 cups. Fresh basil, right in the mixing bowl. 1 cup fresh Romano. Pour the virgin in. Once again, my trade secret is a little bit of garlic. Salt and pepper to taste. Approximately a tablespoon. Now, fresh ground pepper is always best, but when in Rome, do as the Romans. This is Tones right out of here in Iowa. So we're going to add a little bit of pepper for flavor too. Mix it all together. Now get our grinder going again. Now we're not going to push on it with the grinding peg for the simple fact if you push too hard, you're going to have goose grease out the front end. We don't want that. We want to keep it right in the bowl. You're going to see it pretty much feeds itself. let's go ahead and see how we did. Look at the color. Wow, it's so good my hand even wants some. Those flavors just explode in your mouth. Fresh basil, a little bit of garlic, the Romano cheese. This recipe is literally untouchable when it comes to freshness. There's not an improvement to be made by any means. This is one of the great joys of gardening outside, is being able to work and watch it grow, coddle it, let it develop, and then being able to come in and put these recipes together, the ingredients together, to have something utterly amazing. There's not a better satisfaction out there in my book by any means. So, appreciate you stopping in today. Andy Krieger, your garden helper, and remember, when you grow it, you know it. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see, now what do I want to do with all this pesto? Put it on a little slice of Italian bread? Do I want it on pasta? Oh, too many choices. Never enough pesto, but there's always too many choices. Have a good day.